Rachel Zegler, like so many kids raised on TikTok, she's all for infantada is the only global solution.
Wait, how often are you in line for the Snow White ride?
The fallout from Snow White's box office disaster has officially entered legendary status. And right on cue, our resident cultural commentator Bill Maher just had to chime in with his trademark wisdom. Maher's take was so brutally devastating that it actually prompted Rachel Zegler herself to crawl out of the PR bunker and release a video response. Curious how this cinematic train wreck spiraled into a full-blown drama? Grab a chair. No, seriously. You're going to need it, because things are about to get hilariously messy. But before you do, be sure to subscribe to this channel so you don't miss epic moments like this.
Rachel Zegler, like so many kids raised on TikTok, she's all for infantada is the only global solution.
They're leaning into woke. Hardcore.
They're petrified of some kind of backlash.
Right off the bat, Bill Maher goes after Rachel Zegler's ridiculous social takes. And honestly, it's long overdue. This is the same girl who somehow managed to hand Disney one of its biggest flops ever, all while running her mouth like she was doing them a favor. How she even got cast as Snow White is still a mystery. She wasn't super talented, didn't have some rare skill, and she was as woke as they come from day one. Plus, she's got brown skin playing Snow White, a character literally named after her pale skin. But hey, when you're trying to make a statement, who needs accuracy, right? But that's not even the worst part. Zegler's social media takes are some of the cringiest, most over-the-top woke rants you'll ever hear. As Bill Maher said, "What do you expect from a girl who thinks infanta is the solution to the global crisis?" Stuff so wild even Whoopi Goldberg might raise an eyebrow. It's like she was on a mission to annoy everyone before the movie even hit theaters, and judging by how bad the box office numbers were, mission accomplished. But it gets even more interesting.
This is just so typical of the left. The progressives always finding a way to find their way back to doing something not progressive.
Yep, couldn't be more true. Progressives like Rachel Zegler have this special talent for wrecking progress while claiming they're pushing it forward. It's honestly impressive, like watching someone light their own house on fire while bragging about how eco-friendly the flames are. Zegler really thought her bold statements, anti-fan rants, and complete disregard for the original story were going to launch Snow White into some kind of woke-driven Hall of Fame. In her mind, she was leading a revolution. In reality, she led Disney straight off a cliff with statements like this.
I mean, you know, the original cartoon came out in 1937, and very evidently so. There's a big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her. Yeah. Weird. I was scared of the original cartoon. I think I watched it once and then I never picked it up again. I saw the logo and I went, that's my name, Snow White's up there, and I cried my eyes out. I think everyone's going to have their assumptions about what it's actually going to be, but it's really not about the love story at all, which is really, really wonderful.
So no prince or a different kind of prince?
We have a different approach to what I'm sure a lot of people will assume is a love story just because, like, we cast a guy.
She didn't just fumble the ball, she punted it into another dimension. This was a character that's been beloved since 1937, and somehow Rachel managed to suck all the magic, charm, and nostalgia right out of it. The fairy tale that once defined Disney became a cautionary tale about what happens when ideology matters more than storytelling. But hey, at least she stayed authentic to herself. While millions stayed far, far away from theaters,
Disney deleted Someday My Prince Will Come and made a modernized feminist alternative.
They say all you have to do to make your wish come true is let it echo, 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 echo.
It's awful, generic. Never mind that the lyrics make no sense at all. All you have to do to make your dream come true is let it echo. Is it like on a metaphorical level?
But if you think that was the cringiest part, oh, buckle up. Rachel Zegler and Disney's woke crusade didn't just annoy people, it lit a firestorm of backlash. From fans, critics, and just about anyone who still has common sense. And instead of pulling back or offering a half-hearted apology, Zegler did what all modern Hollywood stars seem to do. She doubled down. She bashed the original story like it was some outdated relic, threw shade at the very audience she was supposed to win over, and took cheap shots at critics like Bill Maher, who dared to call her out. Instead of showing humility, she played the victim while swinging at the source material that made her relevant in the first place. It was a masterclass in how to turn a PR nightmare into a full-blown disaster.
To everyone who hates when I win, the winged victory came to the Louvre in pieces, and people still line up to see her. And I can only hope that despite my flaws, and despite my cracks and my breaks, and there are many of them, that at every premiere and everything I do, people will wait in line to.
You see what she's doing here? Classic move. Play the victim. After dropping non-stop woke takes on social media, mocking the original Snow White, insulting the fan base, and throwing shade at anyone who dared to criticize her, Rachel Zegler suddenly wants sympathy. She had the nerve to act like she's the one under attack, as if the backlash came out of nowhere, totally unprovoked. It's the Hollywood playbook. Stir the pot, act smug, then cry foul when the internet claps back. Zgler practically begged for the backlash with every interview and tweet. Yet when it finally hit, she acted shocked. And instead of owning up to anything, she leaned into the victim card like it was her final lifeline. It's not just tone deaf, it's peak delusion wrapped in entitlement, sprinkled with a total lack of self-awareness.
And then what happened was they started making these decisions, all you have to do is go back and look at a couple of years ago, the decision, you cannot win an Academy Award unless you have 40% LGBTQ, unless you have people, a certain percentage of color, the crew is this. And here's what you never hear from a 14-year-old, which is, those are the people who go see more movies than anybody else. Let's go see that new movie this week. I hear it's got 20% LGBTQ trans, and the boom guy was Native American.
Exactly. And I agree 100% with Rob Schneider on this one. Snow White is supposed to be a fairy tale for kids. You know, kids. The ones who don't care about politics, social agendas, or the latest Twitter outrage. All they want is to sit back, munch some popcorn, and enjoy a magical story with singing animals and a happy ending. So why does every studio suddenly feel the need to hijack childhood classics just to shove in a painfully woke message? Who asked for this? Because it sure wasn't the kids, or their parents. Nobody watches Snow White to get a lecture on feminism or colonialism. It's not deep, it's not revolutionary, it's a fairy tale. Let kids be kids, and stop turning every innocent story into a political billboard. Honestly, if you're trying to fix a timeless classic that wasn't broken to begin with, maybe the problem isn't the story. Maybe it's you.
I think it's fair to say that no one on the right side of America can stand the star of this movie. And yet, Christian, you've seen the movie, and it appears that the filmmakers cobbled together enough salvageable material to make the movie itself quite nice.
Yeah, it's not a train wreck. I was expecting just that. And listen, it's not a great film. It's got its flaws. And this third act is completely rewritten to be more empowering. I think you know the drill. But listen, one of the reasons why Rachel Zegler sticks around is she's got a beautiful voice and she has some talent. So I think that certainly helps her because she's a PR nightmare. I don't know how anyone would.
Honestly, Rachel Zegler and Disney are a match made in woke heaven. They deserve each other. Both seem more interested in pushing agendas than preserving the magic that made these stories timeless in the first place. Together, they've managed to take a beloved classic, one that defined generations of childhood, and turn it into a lifeless, joyless lecture on modern-day activism. It's almost impressive how fast they managed to wreck a legacy that stood strong since 1937. What used to be a tale full of wonder, charm, and innocence has now been reduced to a checklist of forced diversity, rewritten morals, and eye-roll-worthy social commentary. And for what? So they can pat themselves on the back and call it progress? They didn't reimagine Snow White. They steamrolled it. The fantasy, the music, the magic, it's all been stripped away. And in its place, a soulless, preachy remake nobody asked for. Bravo, Disney, really. You've outdone yourselves.
Snow White bombs, breaks records for the lowest live-action remake opening ever. Let me say that again. Ever. Okay, this is Snow White. And for those of you that have daughters or ladies that are listening to this, remember the first time you watched Snow White? The story, a love story, what happens to it? Snow White starring Rachel Zegler opened to a dismal $43 million, snagging the title of the lowest debut weekend for any Disney live-action remake, beating 2019's Dumbo at 46 million. They beat Dumbo.
And why wouldn't this be the worst movie remake ever? Let's be honest. People are just plain tired of this woke nonsense being shoved down their throats by Hollywood. It's like they've completely forgotten what made movies enjoyable in the first place. People go to the movies to escape, not to be lectured on every social issue under the sun. But Hollywood? They're determined to turn every beloved classic into a political statement. It's as if the message now is, who cares if the movie is good, as long as it checks all the boxes for progressive values? Well, newsflash. Hollywood, audiences don't care about your virtue signaling. They care about stories that transport them, entertain them, and make them forget about the chaos of the real world. Instead, we're left with overblown, preachy remakes that feel more like corporate propaganda than actual cinema. At this point, it's not just a trend. It's a full-blown epidemic in Hollywood, and people are fed up.
I get stopper photos every time I'm online for the Snow White ride, and I have to pretend like, oh God, well, crazy that we're in front of this.
Wait, how often are you in line for the Snow White ride?
I'm a narcissist.
Look, Rachel, here's a reality check for you, just in case no one's had the guts to say it yet. The world doesn't revolve around you. No matter how many woke takes you drop on social media, you might think you're the voice of a generation. But spoiler alert, you're not. Americans don't wake up every day wondering how to make sure Snow White has the perfect social justice spin. They're worried about their jobs, their families, paying bills, and just trying to get by. You're out here preaching about representation, diversity, and changing a centuries-old fairy tale, while the rest of the country is stuck in traffic or scrambling to make ends meet. People care about stories that make them laugh, cry, and feel something real. Not about the latest Hollywood message that feels more like a corporate agenda than genuine art. So here's the deal, Rachel. Not everything is a platform for your personal crusade. Sometimes it's okay to just entertain. You know, the thing movies are supposed to do. And with that, we're wrapping up today's video. If you're sick of the woke nonsense too, drop a comment below and hit that like button if you had a good time. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you in the next video. Goodbye.